Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice on screen. Those are attending in online. Just 1 minute, guys. Guys, please confirm to me. All right. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice on screen. Is my voice is clear to all of you guys? Now tell me. Please confirm to me. All of you know. Is my voice is clear to all of you? Okay. Am I audible, guys? Please, everybody respond to me. Am I audible? Right. That's nice. Now, coming to the content here, what we understood there, what we completed in the last session, if you observe this, I think so. We are discussing about IO streams. Let us check this clearly. Full stack Java 10 AM or Java 10. Now here we are understanding IO streams topic. In IO streams, what we completed there, file operations, here we completed clearly. File operations, file input stream, file output stream, file reader, file writer. These concepts already we understood clearly. The total content here we completed. Am I right? File reader, file writer. These examples here we completed already. That's nice. Okay, fine. All right, sir. Guys, then still people are giving information to me. Now, please, once again, confirm to me. All of you get my voice on screen clearly. Is my voice is clear? Are you getting clear voice from my side? Yes, 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 yes. Now it is clear. All right, sir. Now let's move on to the point here. What we completed there regarding this. Now the topic is like what there after completion of this dynamic input approaches. Dynamic input approaches. This is the next topic what we are having in IO streams. Dynamic input approaches. What exactly the meaning of this dynamic input approaches? What is the meaning of this dynamic here? Dynamic input. What is the meaning of this dynamic input actually? If we provide input to data to the Java applications at runtime or at the time of executing Java application, then that input is called as dynamic input. So if you provide input data to the Java application at runtime or at the time of executing a Java application, then that input is called a dynamic input. All right. Now, how this dynamic input is going on, then how we are able to provide this dynamic input in Java applications, there we have to understand it clearly. How we are able to provide this dynamic input in Java applications, if you understand it clearly. Now we have a number of approaches there clearly. What are the various approaches here we are getting there to provide this dynamic input? There are three approaches to provide dynamic input. What are the three approaches to provide this dynamic input? The first one is like what I'm telling to you. The first one, very first one, buffer reader, and second one is what the scanner, and the next one is what their console. I think already we understood this topic in advanced Java. Those who already attended these concepts in advanced Java, not mandatory to attend these classes here, but if you are interested, then we can attend these classes now. The same content, whatever the concepts we discussed there in advanced Java, in the introductory part, prerequisite part, the same thing I'm going to discuss here. I think some of you might be attended for it, but some of you are only core Java students are available, so that I have to repeat this total content, irrespective of or without thinking about advanced Java content here. Right now, here we need to provide what this total content here. Okay, fine. Dynamic input approaches. If we provide input to data to the Java application at runtime or at the time of executing a Java application, then that input is called dynamic input. There are three approaches to provide dynamic input. What are the three approaches to provide dynamic input here? First one is buffer reader, second one is what, scanner, and third one is what, their console. These are all overall three things are available that we have to understand. Fine, sir. Now, first of all, I want to use what, their buffer reader. Buffer reader approach here we are going to understand. What is this buffer reader approach? What we are going to do there? All right. If you want to provide dynamic input through buffer reader, we have to use the following instruction. A statement here we have to use. What is the statement here we have to use there? Now understand it clearly. First one is what is the statement here we have to use there? Buffer reader BR is equal to new buffer reader of new input stream reader of, there we have to use what there, system.in. This is a statement here we have to use. But what exactly the meaning of buffer reader? What we are going to understand about this buffer reader? Buffer reader BR is equal to new buffer reader, new input stream reader, system.in. What is the meaning of this buffer reader? What is the meaning of this input stream reader? Like here we have to understand now. Right, sir? Let us observe carefully how we are going to do this one. First of all, I want to explain this content through the diagram here. Now try to understand this diagram here, all of you know. Observe carefully. Now, for example, I want to take like what there. This is like a command prompt. This is like what I'm telling you, a command prompt. Okay. Now I want to take a Java program here. This is my Java program. This is Java program. Understand it clearly. Now inside the Java program, then what we are able to provide there. Okay, right. Now the point is what? I want to write some text data also. Now this is like what there, command prompt, CMD. There only we are going to provide our like what there, dynamic input. Here we are able to have like what there, Java application. It's okay. All right, so then after this, what next one here we have to do? Now, if you want to prepare this particular thing, if you want to take dynamic input in this particular content here, what we have to do there? First of all, here we have to use one intersection. What intersection here we have to use there? What intersection here we are going to use there? For example, that intersection would be buffer reader BR is equal to new buffer reader of new input stream reader of system.in, that we are able to get system.in. Here we are able to get system.in, that we have to get, understand it clearly. All right, buffer reader BR is equal to new buffer reader, new input stream reader, like what then, system.in, that intersection here we are able to write. This is an intersection here we have to understand. Okay, fine. Now, first of all, I want to give clarity. What is this system.in actually? What is the meaning of this system dot in? First we have to understand this point here. Right, sir, observe carefully. In is a static variable defined in system class. In is a static variable defined in system class. Understand it clearly. Where in is a static variable defined in a system class. Defined in system class. It is able to refer a predefined input stream object. A predefined input stream object which is connected with the command prompt. Which is connected with the command prompt. Not only that, it is able to refer to a predefined input stream object which is connected with the command prompt. Understand it clearly. After this, after completion of this, after understanding this particular point here, another thing is like what there. If we provide any data, if we provide 1 minute, guys, just give a minute of time. Right, sir. Now okay, the point is what there. If we provide dynamic input in the command prompt, if we provide dynamic input in the command prompt, then the provided dynamic input, the provided dynamic input will be sent to the input stream object in the form of bytes. Observe carefully. In the form of like what there bytes. This is the clear-cut analysis here we have to understand. If we provide dynamic input in the command prompt, then the provided dynamic input will be sent to the input stream object in the form of bytes only. Why? Because input stream is like what there byte oriented stream only here we have to understand. Now see this one here. What is the point here I'm telling there? Now first of all here we have to recognize it. Input stream is like what I am telling to you. Alright, so now this is we can identify clearly input stream. Yeah, instead of this, then I want to prepare this diagram in my own way. Just we can understand. Now okay, this is like what I am telling to you. Input stream object. Alright, so that's okay, fine. For example, if I put the data here, understand it now. Hello is the data if I write it. Hello is the data if I write it. Automatically that hello data will come to the hello data will come to the input stream in the form of byte oriented streams only. Observe carefully. Automatically the data will come to like what there in the form of bytes. There we can identify the data like what there zeros and ones only. There we can identify the data is like what there zeros and ones only. Like this the data is available inside like what there input stream object. So this is like what I am telling to you clearly input stream object. Right, sir? I want to write this is like what I'm telling to you, system.in. Now get I want to say this is like what their input stream object. Right. Input stream object. Now understand the point here up to now what I'm giving there. Data is provided in the form of like what their input stream object. But when data is provided in the form of input to stream object, here what is going to be happen there when data is provided in the form of input stream object, here what is going to be happen there, the data is available in the form of bytes now, but I require the data in a Java application. I require the data in the form of like what there, I need the data in the form of characters. So here we have to convert the data from bytes representation to character representation. That is our requirement. I need to convert the data from bytes representation to character representation. Here to convert the data from bytes representation to character representation, there we have to use what we have to use there, that should be there we have to use like what there, input to stream reader, that we have to use clearly. To convert the data from bytes representation to character representation, there we have to use input to stream reader. That's the main purpose here we can understand. Now let us see this point also clearly. Okay, then first of all let me prepare this diagram here. Inside this, what I am going to do there, I have to use this one. All right, okay. Now get, the next one is like what there we have to prepare. Right, sir. Now here, what I am going to do here, now here what I need to prepare there. Okay, now here we have to provide something about it clearly. Now this is like what I'm telling to you. This I want to say, input to stream reader. What's the main intention of this input stream reader here? No, it has to get the data. It has to get the data from what there. It has to get the data from input stream to, the same data will be converted to like what there, characters. These are like what their individual characters. Like this, the data will be converted. The data will be provided by input stream reader. Okay, right, sir. Whenever the data is available in the form of individual characters, no, directly I can read the data from what there from this input sim written, but it will take like what there. Once again, then what it will take there? It will take lot of time in the sense number of read operations it has to perform more. So performing more number of read operations in a sense, definitely it will take lot of time here. So because of that reason, performance of the input operation will be reduced. To overcome this particular problem, here what we have to do there, here we need to provide, simply here we need to provide something else like what there, we need to provide buffer reader. Here we have to use buffer reader. Then what is it next one? Here we have to understand there we have to use what there, buffer reader, right sir? Now understand this buffer reader clearly, how we are going to prepare this buffer reader here. For example, if I take this buffer reader, if you want to take this buffer reader kit, now this is the way to take this buffer data. No, now here we can take this buffer data here. All right, right sir. Here we are getting that buffer data. Whenever we are getting this buffer data there, this is like what I'm telling to you. Buffer data part here we have taken. Okay, onwards, sir. Now see this one. Now in this scenario here, what I am telling to you. Now here we are getting the total content like this. Observe carefully. Now the data will come to the buffer data. Then how the data will come to the buffer data here? It will take all the characters at a time. Buffer the reader. It will take all the characters at a time. Then the total data will come to like what is the buffer data, and the data will be taken into the like what there. Data will be taken to the buffer data. There where hello data as a single data it will be available. Understand it? The total data will be stored. Total data will be stored here in the form of a buffer. There we can identify this. This is like what I'm telling to you, a buffer. Okay, now get no problem. Here what is available here? Here we can identify this a buffer. Inside the buffer, what data is available here? The hello data will be available. As a buffer, there we can identify the data. What data there we can identify this? Here like hello data is existed. Okay. Now the remaining part is what there. Whenever the data here it is available inside the buffer, there we have to collect the data. There we have to get the data. directly from what there we have to get the data from buffer to the buffer data to the Java application. Then how we are able to get the data from buffer to the Java application now? There we have to identify this clearly. The same hello data here I want to reach. Here I want to get the same hello data from this buffer to the Java program. Then how it is possible here now? How it is possible to get this particular data here if we observe this clearly? Alright, now there we can identify clearly the data. Directly the data here we are getting clearly. That's it. This is exactly the meaning of like what they're reading the data. But how it is possible to read the data inside the Java application? If you observe this, there we are going to use two methods. What are the two methods here we are able to use it? The first one is what the read method, and the other one is what the read line method here we are able to use. First one is what the read method, and the second one is like what the read line method here we have to use to read the data. To read the data from what to what buffer data to the Java application. The other two methods here we are using clearly. Alright, sir. So this is overall information what we are having clearly. The points here what we are discussing there, just we can identify clearly the content. Okay. Now overall picture here what I am telling here, overall concept here what I am telling to you, understand it clearly. In this overall scenario, first of all we enter that hello is a data in the command prompt. The data would be taken by input stream, which is referred by a static reference variable inside the system class, where the data will come to the system.in, that is input stream, in the form of bytes. When the data is coming in the form of bytes, no, we require the data in the form of like what there characters data. So we need to convert the data from bytes representation to character representation. When we want to provide the data from bytes representation to character representation, there we have to use what there input to stream reader, where input to stream reader is able to convert the data from bytes representation to character representation. All right, after that, the characters are available, individual characters are available, where to read that individual characters it may take a lot of time. So many read operations we have to perform there. To overcome this problem, simply here what we have to do there, we have to get the data, we have to get what I'm telling there, we have to read the data at a time, single time. If we need to use what there buffer data, inside the buffer data, buffer is available, that buffer is able to store the total data, what exactly the individual characters which are available in input stream, the total data will come to the buffer. From this buffer data, we are going to get the data into the Java program just by using read method or read line method. Like this here we are able to provide. These are exactly the points here what we are getting clearly. Now let me check this one now. Now here we can identify this overall each and every component here I provided here. What components here we completed here? One is what there system.in we understood, input stream reader we understood, buffer data we understood. Buffer data is mainly for the sake of improving the performance of the Java application. Understand it clearly. Okay. All right, sir. Now here we have to understand the point clearly what I am telling to you, what exactly this content here, how this content is going to be provided, the total information here I provided. Now let me save in the diagram here. Yes, perfect. Now here we are getting this diagram and try to understand it clearly. This is the DNS section here what we provided now. Okay. All right, sir. Now it's okay. Now I want to give some further details about the same diagram here in the form of bytes. All right, sir. In the above context, input to stream is able to provide the data in the form of bytes, but we need the data in the form of characters. Why because characters data is more readable than what their bytes data. Am I right or not? Characters data is more readable than what their bytes data. Guys, now tell me, you only respond to me. Characters data is more readable than the bytes data. Am I right or not? You have to answer for me. character data is more readable than the bytes data. Okay, so we have to convert the data in the form of bytes, but we need the data in the form of characters. So we need to convert the data. We need to convert the data from bytes representation to character representations. So here to convert the data from bytes representation to character representations, bytes representations to the character representations, we have to use here to convert the data from bytes representation to the character representation, we have to use input to stream reader. Right. Input to stream reader. That's the purpose of this input to stream reader. Then what this input stream reader is able to do, no, it is able to convert the data in the form of characters. Once the characters data is available, then we have to read the data. Right, sir. Now one more point here I'm telling there. In the above context, we can read data from input stream reader directly into the Java application, but we have to read the data. We have to read the data. We have to read the data in the form of individual characters. It will take more read operations. It will reduce input operation performance. It will reduce input operations performance. It will reduce input operations performance. Right, sir? Again, to overcome this problem, to overcome the above problem, we have to use buffer reader. To overcome the above problem, there we have to use what there? Buffer reader. To overcome the above problem, we have to use buffer reader. Where buffer reader is able to get the complete data. Buffer reader is able to get the complete data from the input stream reader in the form of buffer is able to get the complete data from the input stream reader in the form of string in a buffer. So here we can read directly the data from buffer reader as a string data So buffer reader will improve the performance of the input operation. Alright, so the point is what there. To overcome the above problem, we have to use buffer reader, where buffer reader is able to get the complete data from the input stream reader in the form of string in buffer. Here we can read directly the data from buffer reader as a string data at a time. So buffer reader will improve. Buffer reader is able to improve the performance of the input operations. Alright, that's okay, fine. This is what exactly the data here we are getting there. Okay, fine. Now this part is okay. The diagram also here we provided there. Next one is what next point here we have to understand there. To read data from the buffer reader, we have to use the following methods. What methods here we have to use, sir? Now tell me. That methods would be public public string readline method. Then another method would be like what there, public int read method. That's it. We can understand this clearly. This is a diagram here what we provided. After this, after understanding this particular diagram here, now here we have an important interview question. What is that question here we are getting there? What is the difference between, what is the difference between, as observe carefully, what is the difference between readline method and read method? What is the difference between readline method and a read method? This is the question here we are getting. What is the difference between readline method and read method? Now here we have to understand the answer here. Read method and readline method, both here if you observe this clearly. Readline method is able to read a line of data, a line of text as a string, is able to read the complete line of data as a string, where read method is able to read a single character in the form of its ASCII value. Its ASCII value from the buffer data. That's it. So this is a clear-cut information. What is readline method and what is the meaning of this read method? That both here we understood clearly. Now the next one is what there. I need to show an example here. On the basis of this, by that we are able to understand it clearly. Let's see this here. We are going to see an example. Right. Now okay, I want to create a separate project. The new project here I want to create. Maybe 08. Everything is okay, fine. Click on create button. Okay. Right, sir. Now let's see this one. Now for the sake of our program safety purpose, I'm going to use class main public static void main string array args throws exception. Later we'll use that try with resources, no problem. Now understand this. Inside this, then what we are getting there? Public static void main string array throws exception. It's okay, fine. Now observe carefully. First of all, let me create the buffer header. Buffer header is equal to new buffer header of a new input stream reader. Then where we have to provide like what there is not in semicolon that we provide it. After this, then what next one here? After getting it known, the next one is what there. After completion of this, I want to get something else like what there. Now, first of all, I'll ask that user system.out.println of enter the data. User may enter the data, but I want to use print method, not println method. How to get the data? By using string. String data is equal to buffer data dot readline method. Directly we can use it. Sysnode.print method, again the same point. What I'm telling there, enter the same data. Again, user will enter the same data, but this time I want to get in the form of like what the integer. Now buffer data dot read method. Read method is able to read a single character in the form of its ASCII value. So I want to display both the data. Now sysnode.println of readline method retrieve data. That should be like what the data. Sysnode.println of, now the next one is what the read method provided data plus now get what we have to provide the val plus I'm going to take like what there that I want to display its ASCII value plus it's like what the character equivalent character in the form of bracket key I'm able to provide. Right, sir? Now this is exactly the program here what we are going to prepare. If I run this program, then we are able to get some clarity. We are able to have some details now. What details here we are able to get here? Observe carefully. Execute this program. Now first of all my program is asking to me enter data. Right, sir? What my program is asking to me enter data. Say for example I'm going to enter Durga Software Solutions. This is the data I provided here. Durga Software Solutions. Enter the same data again here. Now it is asking about it, Durga Software Solutions. Click on enter button. There we are getting readline method data is what there, Durga Software Solutions. Read method data is what there, 68. Inside the bracket what we are getting there, capital D. Capital D is the data here we are getting. Alright, sir. Now this is clearly the point here we are getting. Alright, so now let me take this one. Program here we provided at the same time. Output also here I want to provide it. This is the output here we have taken. Yeah, the total everything here we completed. This is about like what I'm telling you, buffer data. But still there is a problem with the buffer data. Now understand the data problem here. One more example here I'm telling to you. What is that example here? See, observe carefully. In the case of buffer reader, if we want to take primitive data as a dynamic input, we have to use the following two steps. What are the two steps here we have to use there? The two steps are like what there. First one is what is that first one here? Then we have to understand now. Now the first one is, for example, now the first one is read the primitive data as a string by using readline method. Next one is what there, convert the data. Next one is what there, convert the data from string type to the respective primitive type. Convert the data from string type to the respective primitive type. Okay, these two things here we have to convert. Then only we are able to do this. Now let's see this one. One simple example here I want to do that. Now okay, fine. Now see this one, what exactly the point here I'm telling to you. Same buffer data here I want to use. Inside this buffer data, then after creating this buffer data, first of all, what I have to provide the information there. First of all, I want to use something else, something about like what I am providing now. Say for example, system.out.print of enter first value. I want to take two numbers as a dynamic input. I want to perform arithmetic addition over the two numbers. That's my requirement. System.out.print of enter first value. System.out.print of enter second value. Second value. Now here I want to get first value first now. How I am going to get this first value here now? String val1 is equal to buffer data dot readline method. Now again string val2 is equal to buffer data dot readline method. After getting this, my intention is what there I want to perform arithmetic addition over the two numbers. So then what I will do that system.out.println of addition plus now here we have to provide val1 plus val2. System.out.println of val1 plus val2. Okay. Right. So now understand it clearly. Val1 plus val2. Then overall, what data here we are getting there? Understand it now. If we provide this total data now, what is going to be happen then? If we observe this clearly, we are expecting arithmetic addition, but instead of performing arithmetic addition, it will perform string concatenation. What it is able to perform there? It is able to perform string concatenation. Instead of performing arithmetic addition, it will perform what there? String concatenation. Everybody understand it clearly. Okay, now we will see this one. Now let me execute this program here. First value, enter first value, it is asking there. Say for example 10, enter second value 20. I'm expecting 30 as an output. But in this case, what we are able to get there, 10, 20 is an output here we are getting. What is that output we are getting there? 10, 20 output here we are getting. Not like any other one. 10, 20 output here we are getting. Okay. But we are expecting like what there? What we are expecting there? We are expecting 30, but we are getting what output? No, 10, 20. So because of that reason, then what I have to do there? So first we are getting the total numeric values. 10 or 20, both the values we are getting the form of strings only. So first of all, we have to convert them. After converting them into the numbers, then after that we can perform over there arithmetic addition there. There we are able to get our content. So first of all, let me convert into the like what are the numeric values. Int fval is equal to integer dot parse int of directly here we can use what there val1. Val1 is a string 2 fl, that means conversion here we performed here by using wrapper class now. Int sval is equal to integer dot parse int of val2. By using this integer dot parse int method, it will convert a string data to the integer value, and second one is string data to the integer value. Directly here we are converting that. Then whenever we are getting this data, the system.out.print of println of println is required. Println of now here addition. Now here we can apply this one plus there we can provide fval plus sval. Fval plus sval. Right, that's okay, fine. Now let us check this clearly. I want to run this example here. Enter first value. Now I want to enter that what is the 10 now. Second one is 20. First one is 10, 20, but third one, next one is out there. What is that output we are getting there? 30 as an output here we are getting. The next one here we are getting what there? 30 as an output here we are getting. Right, sir. Now this is the program here we have to understand. Right, sir. Understand it clearly. The same output also here we provided clearly. Right, so now this is the total story about like what there buffered reader. The topic here we understood how buffered it is provided, how it is going to be happen, the total content of this buffered reader here we understood clearly. Guys, all of you are getting clarity what exactly the point here I discussed with you? Are you getting clarity on this point here? Have you understood this buffered reader? Have you understood this buffered reader? Right, sir. Now what next one? Right, sir. What next one here? What next one here we are able to get it now? Apart from this, what we are getting this? Now tell me. The next content will be scanner. Right, nice. The next one will be like what then? Scanner that we have to implement. What is the benefit of the scanner here? What exactly the advantage of the scanner? No, what is the benefit here we are getting from the scanner if you observe this? The scanner is a class provided by Java in its Java 1.6 version. It can be used to take numeric data. It can be used to take numeric data. Numeric data, or instead of saying that numeric data, primitive data. It can be used to take primitive data directly as a dynamic input without using wrapper classes. Without using wrapper classes. This is exactly the meaning of like what there scanner. The scanner utilization here we understood clearly. Right, sir. Then after this, after understanding this scanner, no, how we are going to utilize this scanner? One minute, sir. Scanner is a class provided by Java in the form of java.util.scanner in its Java 1.6 version. It can be used to take primitive data directly as dynamic input without using wrapper classes. That's then what next one here? How we are going to use this? To use scanner in Java applications, we have to use the following steps. What steps can we have to use there? Step number 1. Create a scanner class object. How we are going to create this scanner class object? We can identify this. Scanner is equal to new scanner of system.in. Again here system.in is what there representing an input stream and it is connected with what their command prompt. Directly from command prompt, we are able to get the data to the input stream. That input stream data we are getting into what there, into the respective scanner. Now from the scanner, we can get the data into the Java program. That's it. This is a clear cut awareness here. We have to understand about like what there, the scanner information here we provided. All right, sir. After this, after completion of this, what next one here we have to do there? After getting the scanner, then read dynamic input from the scanner. Next one, read dynamic input from by using the scanner. Then how we are going to get it? All right, sir. Now understand it clearly. Number two, point number two. Read a dynamic input from the scanner. Read dynamic input from scanner. Here I am going to provide some cases. What cases I am telling to you? First one is to read primitive data. To read primitive data directly from scanner, we have to use the method. What method here we are going to use there? Public XXX next XXX method, where XXX may be byte comma, short comma, int and so on, long and so on. This is exactly the meaning of like what there, directly to read primitive data. That's the next int method, next float method, next double method. Like this we are having some methods. Okay, fine. Next one is after this, to read string data from scanner. To read string data from scanner, two methods here we are able to use. One is what there, public next line method, public string next method. Then immediately we are getting one important interview question here. In this case, that interview question is what there, what is the difference between next line method, next method from scanner? What is the difference between next line method and next method? Here we have to understand the point here. Next line method is able to read the complete line of text as a string, whereas next method is able to read a single word from the dynamic input. Next method is able to provide a single word, not complete line of data, a single word. Okay. Right, so there we have to see an example on the base of this. By that you are able to get some clarity. Alright, now this example I'll discuss within tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow, guys, then maximum I'll take this offline class and as well offline and online, but still I'm going to use that workshop link only so that you can attend for the classes there. And tomorrow max information we are going to take the class in offline and online both. So those who are attending offline, then tomorrow we can come to the session directly, no problem. All right. Okay, right, then some difference is available. Next line method is able to read the complete line of text as a string, but next method is able to read a single word from the dynamic input. Right, we'll see the difference there in tomorrow. Read method is able to read a single character, not a complete word, but here a word, not single character. Next method. Okay. Right, sir. Now just take some break. Then within few minutes of time, I will start advanced Java class. Advanced Java class demo link I'm going to use, not workshop link. Try to attend for it. Now within few minutes of time, I'll start advanced Java class case. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot.